Hello, hello. Having a little tech issue over here. Happy Tuesday. Um, Tami Eagle is going to be jumping on with me today to talk about Light Up NBC. And um, oh, you're here already. Amazing. Okay, here we go. I'm sending you a request, Tami. Invite will pop up on your end. And you'll be, yes.
I'm here.
Awesome. I feel like I jinxed myself yesterday when I was like, it's easy. And then I tried to log on today and it just kept saying that it needed to check my connection. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. It just wouldn't have worked, but we're here. We did it.
Oh, good. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks. I am just back from visiting my grandmother, my mom's mom, from her 101st birthday.
What a blessing.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. She's, you know, my kids haven't seen her since before the pandemic, and they were like really excited to sit down with her and hear some of her stories. I think they're old enough to kind of appreciate, we talked a lot about what it means to be alive. And, she's lost two daughters. And I think for my kids to sort of understand that someone can live 66 years past when their children dies is kind of insane. Just the context of things is starting to click for them. So it was just it was a lovely visit. She's an amazing person. I feel really lucky to have her in my life still, but it helped have some conversations about like life and mortality and things with my kids that we haven't had before. So it's been a nice couple of days since we saw her too.
Now, did you take videos? Because that's something that I find the videos are so important just to have as a memento. And a lot of times we're just rushing around and, taking the pictures, but it's really nice to have the voice.
Yeah, we did some videos and I also audio recorded her, which I did on her 100th birthday. Like I sat on the floor in front of her with the audio recorder on her lap because she'll just tell stories. So if I'm like, oh, I love the blue wall behind you, she would talk about why she chose blue and then it would remind her about something else. So she would just like kind of go from story to story. So there's a lot of audio recording of her voice, which we don't have of my mom. And that, like the very little bit of my mom that we have that's video and audio, it's so precious.
It is. It is.
Yeah. But how are you?
I am busy. I am getting ready for Light Up NBC Live next week. I can't believe it's just about a week and 2 days away.
Yeah,
So
I would love we did this last October to talk about Light Up NBC, but we have so many new people. I would love for you to kind of do a summary of what it is, and we'll obviously share about it too. We've been sharing about it in our stories here on Instagram, but hearing directly from you would be awesome.
of course. Well, a few years ago, a woman by the name of Laura Inahara, um, her best friend was diagnosed with breast cancer and unfortunately was diagnosed at 32 and passed away at 36. And she said, wouldn't it be great if a landmark could light in pink, teal, and green? Because we know that pink is synonymous with early stage breast cancer, but Metaviver has designed this ribbon that really represents beyond pink. Teal is for healing and spirituality, green is for hope and the cycle of life, and pink that it originated in the breast, but stage 4 is so much more than that. And then, more landmarks got involved in this campaign called Light Up NBC. And a few years ago, I said, we should create a platform so that people could see these landmarks going live around the country. And it's really incredible because now it's gotten to a point where all 50 states in the US are participating and they're all lighting landmarks the same night to make a great impact on October 13th. Why? Because October 13th is recognized as Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day. And now the campaign has even gone global. We have landmarks in Canada, Ireland, and even Hong Kong this year.
So amazing.
Yeah, they're all lighting up in those colors. So Light Up NBC Live features people affected by stage 4 breast cancer standing in front of these illuminated landmarks to really share their stories, to shine a light on the disease. But to your point, what you were saying when we just started, just about life, and how your grandmother, has been alive so long, this group of women wants to live, and the appreciation and the gratitude that we have living with this kind of illness each and every day is so profound. And we have so many great music artists that are doing performances, that are giving heartfelt messages within the Light Up NBC show this year. So we have everyone from Matthew Knowles, who I'm sure most people know as Beyonce's dad, but he actually is a male breast cancer survivor, and men can get breast cancer too. We also have Leah Robinson. She's considered the granddaughter of hip hop. Her grandmother, talking about grandmothers, was Sylvia Robinson, who actually started Sugar Hill Records. And we have a very special tribute to Nightbird. I don't know if you saw Nightbird's audition on America's Got Talent.
I have not in real time, but I have seen it since. Yeah.
She was amazing. And, she was around 30 years old and wrote her own music, and Simon Cowell loved her, and she got the golden buzzer to go to the finals. And unfortunately, she passed away of NBC just before the finals. So we speak to her family during the show. We even have Lionel Richie this year. So I'm really excited for, viewers to really get a sense of what it's like to live with NBC, and really hopefully raise a lot of money to fund very critical research grants.
Yeah, it's so important. I think, anyone in this community is really sensitive to all of the pink and the pink washing that's happening. And there's lots of different people in, especially the online breast cancer community, who are working hard at changing the conversation and talking about organizations that support research, that support survivors, that support people going through treatment in like a real and genuine, and not just like, October, make it pink, have a marketing campaign about it way. And I think for lots of people who haven't been touched by metastatic breast cancer, or don't know someone who has it, or think breast cancer is the easy cancer, or all of these things that have happened as part of people becoming more aware about this disease, Medivivor and Light Up NBC are doing this really important work of sharing that it is not pretty, it is not pink, it is not boobs. There's a lot of, unfortunately, like, making it pretty and sexualized or something that isn't the reality of what it means to be someone who's in this community, especially if you're living with stage 4 cancer. And I think what you work so hard to make happen every year is just incredibly touching if someone like tunes in and watches the show, but does a massive community service for the awareness of this issue being not just about breasts, that metastatic cancer it means it's all in your body. The issues people facing are so much bigger. It's just, I think it's a really important part of this month.
I think so too. And, I didn't know a lot about it when I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed at 41, out of the blue, just from a routine mammogram, second mammogram of my life. And when they told me that it was breast cancer, I was really shocked, but I wanted to have a double mastectomy. But then, imagine being told, well, let's do a PET scan of your body. And, unfortunately, it already spread to your liver, and now it's stage 4. It was just so shocking. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about educating people, because there is no cure for stage 4. But for people who catch it early, of course, there's a good chance that you can live cancer-free. However, 30% of early stage breast cancers, unfortunately, do recur as stage 4. And that's really a statistic that most people don't talk about.
Yeah.
And, I don't know why only 5% of US breast cancer research dollars currently that's such a small percentage that's going to stage 4 research, when it's the only kind that kills.
Yeah. And 30% is high. That's significant. 1 in 8 women gets diagnosed in the United States, and if 30% of those women go on to be metastatic, that's not a small population of people. And I agree with you that the amount of funding and research is just not enough. And I think the work that you're doing and Light Up NBC hopefully will help balance that out, because there is no cure, period, right? We just, for people who are treated for early stage breast cancer, they get no evidence of disease, NED. That doesn't mean it's gone or it's cured. It's like we just,
Right, you have to stay on treatment. And that's just why it's just so important to continue to fund the pipeline. And, you know, Medivivor gives around, almost $5 million a year to, fund scientists' work to try to find those breakthroughs. But I would say that Light Up NBC is definitely more, it's become more than just a fundraising campaign. People have really described it as a movement by the stage 4 community to really have our voices heard. And, there is an ambassador group on Facebook that I call Light Up NBC Ambassadors. There's now over 300 ambassadors that volunteer in some way. And it isn't always about fundraising. It's just about advocating.
yeah.
And, that group, I have supplied templates to write to mayors, governors, to issue proclamations on the statistics. And what's amazing to me is when I see that take action, and I have a volunteer send me a picture of their proclamation from their mayor. That's amazing. And they've also established a relationship with leadership in their town. And this year, for the first time, we rolled out Light Up NBC fun runs, which we never had before. And the powder was, pink, teal, and green. And we actually have one happening every weekend in October
Oh, amazing.
in different cities around the country. So, someone just finished one of those Light Up NBC fun runs in Texas last weekend. And she said it was just amazing to see the community come out. And I think that's what it's about, feeling supported, feeling that sense of community, helping people to really understand what this disease is about, and how we can push forward, and really just to share also our perspective on enjoying life every day and making the most of it.
Yeah, totally. I think, the ripple effect is so significant. It's awareness, it's advocacy, it's education, it's making, I think that's one of the most isolating diagnoses, from, I come at it from a caregiver perspective. When my mom was diagnosed, I know she knew people who had died from breast cancer. We unfortunately come from an area of Western New York where there's a really, really high rate of breast cancer, but it's like so many other issues that we come up against just living our life, where you feel so alone in those moments where you're struggling. And I think the community part of it, people coming together who are facing it and saying, hey, we're here, we have a voice, we have a perspective, we need help, we need funding, we need research, and we need support, is so powerful. And I love that it just keeps getting bigger every year. And not because I love that metastatic breast cancer is a thing, but I think the more attention we can draw to the places that really need the funding and care, the better. And it's been awesome to watch it get so huge. So
Yeah, it's been, we continue to have some really great sponsors. Pfizer and Seagen and Sanofi have been really supportive with the effort. And then we partnered with Live One this year and last year, actually. And Live One airs the live stream on their website, liveone.com/Light Up NBC. And then we also air it on all of the Metaviver channels. So YouTube, Facebook Live, the Metaviver website. And it has really grown. And just to that point of community, that's really the messaging that I get after the show is what keeps me going. It's the messaging from people hearing like, wow, that happened to me, or I've known you for 7 years and I never knew that about metastatic breast cancer. And I think it's just a great way for people to unite for the cause.
yeah, so I was going to ask, and I think this is what you were just saying, next week it's the 13th, right?
It is Thursday night.
And people can watch on any of those channels. So YouTube, Facebook, the Metaviver website, that's where you can actually watch the event streaming. Is that right?
Yes, right on metaviver.org. But you can also watch it on liveone.com/light up NBC.
Awesome.
Exactly. And it's 9 p.m. Eastern on Thursday night. It's about an hour and a half or so. And I just think anyone who watches will be really moved and inspired by the stories that they hear and the performances that they see that night.
Yeah, and it also, like, for people wherever you live, look around because there are buildings everywhere. You know, once I met you and you told me about this, I started to notice in October that there were buildings that were lit up in pink and blue and teal and was like, "Oh, right. That's what this is." Because sometimes, you know, you're like, "Oh, 4th of July," like you understand what the significance of different things mean, and it's everywhere. I was in Boston, I live in Providence, like everywhere I travel, I try to look out for it in October, and it's like a monument to what you've done and what Metaviver is doing, and it's so important. So for people watching this now or later in October, look in your cities and towns for monuments that are lit up.
On October 13th is when they all light up. And actually, if you post it publicly with the hashtag LightUpNBC, hashtag Metaviver, we're going to be pulling up the Instagram feed during the live show. So you might see your photo on the screen. And if you just go to metaviver.org/lightupNBC, you can see a full list of participating landmarks.
Awesome. I think the one in Providence lights up and stays that way all month. I'll have to notice because I feel like it's more than one day.
Oh, well, that would be great. They only tell us the what we only confirm with them October 13th, because that's the, official Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day. But of course, we would love people to light all month. We'd like people to light all year because we're living with this every day of every year for the rest of our lives.
And if somebody wants to get involved, what's the best way to do that? Like if someone wants to become an ambassador or wants more information or wants to know how they can help and advocate, what's the in way to Metaviver?
Yeah, everything is on that website, which is Metaviver. It's METAVIVOR.org/light up NBC. And, there's so many different ways to get involved. And then if you click through to the donation site, whether you donate or not, you can actually see that it's organized by state. And there are teams for every state in the US. And there's a sense of community and camaraderie within those states because you have individuals sharing their stories of why they're fundraising and how they've been affected by this disease. And it allows you to, get together with that group of people in your state and, create that community.
That's awesome. Um, and are people allowed to be ambassadors and start campaigns who are caregivers or living with early stage cancer or have someone in their family who passed, or is it like, can anybody participate, I guess is the question.
Yep. Anybody, we love anybody who wants to help. Anybody can say, you can say that you've had a loss, or you can just say you watched Light Up NBC Live, or you watched the brilliantly, Instagram Live, and you were inspired and you want to do something to help the cause.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the time, Tami. I love talking to you. I love how much work and effort you put in to helping the community. It's really inspiring and moving, and I'm excited to watch next Thursday, and I'll be sharing it on our social channels, like reminding people over the next week on stories that it's happening. So it sounds like
Thank you. I think this is on Eagle Method as well right now, right? So before we end, I would love for everyone to just hear a little about
yeah.
what you developed, because it is on Eagle Method, and people should know a little bit about your story and just like the products that you designed to help women living with breast cancer.
Good call. We should both do this because in case people on Brilliantly don't know about Eagle Method, which is another amazing thing that you do. Brilliantly, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Kristen. I started Brilliantly a few years ago. I lost my mother, Lisa, to metastatic breast cancer in her 40s, and I had a preventative mastectomy and reconstruction 10 years ago. And my experience having reconstruction led me down the path of trying to feel better in my body. And one of the things that I created was a warming wearable technology. I felt cold all the time from my reconstruction, which I now know is a pretty common problem in this community. And what I created is called Brilliantly Warm. It slips into a bra, it's controlled by an app, and it is all body, full body warmth from the click of a button. And it's meant to just make you feel more comfortable so you can focus on what's important and not constantly be thinking about discomfort, being able to focus on what is important to you, whether that's work or your kids or whatever you're doing on any given day. If people have questions about it, they can reach out here. I answer a lot of the DMs. You can also send us a note to hello@brilliantly.co, and I will be happy to share more information about the product. And Tami, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about Eagle Method, that would be awesome too.
Yes, so during the pandemic, obviously people were dealing with a lot of uncertainty and living with stage 4 cancer. I had developed some great tools and insights that really helped me just find the gratitude in every day despite the challenging situation. So I wrote up a method called the Eagle Method because my maiden name is Eagle, and it really helps people to build resilience, and it's a framework for achieving better mental health.
It's awesome. I think that's so important, whether or not it's a pandemic or you're dealing with illness, but having that sort of emotional fortitude and a framework for gratitude and thinking about your place in the world helps.
I like that. Emotional fortitude. I'm going to use
Yeah,
that.
not trademarked.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Kristen.
So take good care, Tammy. Thanks for this.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.